The main reason I wanted to take part in this project was the opportunity to practice English with peers from Europe.
Although expectations may be not as expected, they are always better than you expect, because behind every wall there is a useful lesson.
The idea of being a cultural detective sounded like an adventure to me. Before I went to Catalonia, it was just part of Spain.
I chose Italy. To me, to be honest, northern Italy was not as mysterious as Sicily.
I really wanted to visit another country, and Sweden seemed like the perfect destination for me.
For the project, I thought that I would come across cultural differences that I wouldn't manage to cope with, but I decided to challenge myself, and to my great relief, it turned out a lot easier than I had expected.
I will always remember the shock when I realized how friendly and respectful the Swedish people were. They were exactly the opposite from what I'd expected. And another thing that will stay in my mind is the bad weather there. It will stay as a definition of Sweden.
Sweden is a very quiet and peaceful country. There was no stress, no rush.
The thing that impressed me most about them is their attitude towards nature. They treat it as if it's their home, which is kind of true since the Swedish mostly live in the forest.
We hear a lot about Swedes being reserved and even in a way cold, but actually they turn out to be extremely open-minded and social.
I really appreciate my personal space, and I really don't like it when someone is sitting too close to me. That's why I really enjoyed that the Swedish people also have this mindset. And the other nations might call them cold-hearted and reserved, but when you get to know them, you understand that they're actually friendly and respectful.
Probably the best thing about this country is the attitude of welcoming people to each other. Even if someone isn't cool or even popular, they still get invited to parties.
Sport is a very important aspect of the Swedish culture. They take their PE classes very seriously. They have compulsory subjects like swimming and orienteering, and as they like to say, there is no such thing as bad weather, only unsuitable clothing.
Sweden provides free education for all the children. The books are free. Even the lunches in the school's canteen are free and delicious. And maybe now I can better understand what social state means.
One evening we went to the cinema, and the inside looked a lot like a theater, or at least like a Bulgarian theater with a vintage look. But on the other hand, you can see a lot of brand new taxis, Mercedes mainly, and this mix of new and old has made a very big impression on me.
This mix of old and new can be said about Sicily too. The puppet workshop and the puppet theater showed me how passionate the Sicilians are about keeping their traditions alive. It can be seen everywhere, from the interesting Baroque buildings to their food and way of living. Sicilians are really trying to preserve their culture and tradition.
One of my most vivid aha moments was the experience with the breakfast. As Italians eat more sweets for breakfast, and in Bulgaria we prefer more savory breakfast, it really took me a few days to get used to their way.
I enjoyed reading the stories on the book of the project. Some of them are funny, but others are really confusing. One certain incident describes the differences between Bulgaria and Sweden when you take a taxi. Here they are cheap and they arrive almost immediately after you phone the company. It was really surprising for me that in Sweden it is a lot more complicated to take a taxi. I think that such stories can help us when we travel to foreign countries.
I tried singing in Italian. It did not go well for me, however. But I think that Italian is a particularly good language to sing in. That is why most operas are sung in Italian, I guess. Italians talk with many gestures and very loudly, so one may think that they are arguing, but they are just chatting about everyday things. Their greetings were very cute, like hugs and kisses, and very heartwarming. I guess that we Bulgarians are more reserved.
Catalonia is full of history, and architecture also. La Sagrada Familia is just out of this world, and the human towers are very unique and different in their own way.
I believe that in general for the Catalans it's very important to maintain their identity because of their complex history.
Well, I personally had no problems with communication, since every time I had a question about their unusual habit or something that I found very different from my culture, I just simply asked the question and they were very happy to answer me.
What is the big idea behind this project? The students have seen a lot. They have experienced a lot. They have learned a lot more about the other who is different and about themselves. I also hope they can do a lot. This happened to me too in my capacity as a teacher and project coordinator.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. If you apply that saying to your life and your cross-cultural communications, you may find it very easy to meet new people. In my opinion, the key to a good communication is to listen and understand, but also to respond accurately.
Respect for everyone.
In my opinion, the key to a successful and a pleasant journey, cultural journey, is attitude.
Curiosity is very important, and patience.
It's all about soft skills, really, the ability to understand different viewpoints.
The most important skill, which I think is the most difficult to develop, is not being judgmental. Because if you set your judgment aside, you would be surprised how many new doors to a whole new world would open and how many new friendships you would make.
I believe that there is no such thing as universal skills for successful communication with foreigners. I think that each person should find their own way, so to say. There is no doubt that there is difference between us because we've been raised in our unique national cultures. But I believe that you don't have to like everything in another culture. And you don't even need to accept it. You just need to see it from its perspective. There is no way to be together other way. After all, that's the point of the whole project, really.
I deeply appreciate participation of my son and all other students in such a project. Certainly, all the activities during the project improve their communication skills and, of course, the ability to meet new friends and to find new cultural experiences.
My Way, Your Way is a project not only about students being cultural detectives, but also about being cultural ambassadors, working together for a common goal. And I think that's the whole point of the Erasmus Plus program.
I'd like to thank all the host families and Swedish and Bulgarian teachers who support our children all the time and encourage them. Thank you.